dailies.
Oh, yes.
And I think I want to start with the Blueprint newspaper.
There you go.
Because it has a different headline.
Something different from what we all know.
We have been inundated with River State. Like, we need a day break.
Even the Blueprint is protesting and saying, we need a break.
We need a break from River State. All right, Blueprint, death toll in Kebbi meningitis outbreak rises to 56. This is also a very, 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 very serious issue. You know, the politics of River State has literally overshadowed every other thing going on in the country. Things are happening we really do not know. But so the Blueprint is bringing our attention to the effect that that disease called meningitis is taking lives in Kebbi State. FG has dispatched about 3,000 doses of the vaccine. So you can get to the pages of the Blueprint, I think to page 8, and do your bit in reading it and find out exactly what it is. Guys.
That's a big picture there as well that shows the FCT minister, but it has nothing to do with River State politics. This is about the compensation and resettlement issues in a community in the nation's capital, Abuja. But take a look at the Guardian newspaper. Of course, the story about the Rivers politics is also there, but the Guardian also leads with something different from River State politics. And it's on the Naira for crude deal, which appears stalled now. And you see, imminent end to subsidize petrol as FX, PMS face major disruption. And you see the pictures on the front page, quite interesting. You see the picture of the
chairman and
CEO, and then you see the chairman of Aliko Dangote group of companies right there. So what does this say? Well, Dangote refineries have put up a statement yesterday saying that, well, they have to start pricing their petroleum products or not in Naira anymore, because they're not getting crude in Naira. So in order to balance things, they're also pricing petroleum products in dollars or what have you. So clearly, gentlemen and ladies, it means that you should be expecting a turnaround in the price of petrol.
A turnaround maintenance.
An increase in the pump price of petrol.
You said it. It's what it is, what it looks like right now. But that's the big story, and it raises lots of concerns. There are different angles people are looking at this from. But we just wanted to bring that to your notice, just to be expectant if nothing happens.
And unlike Guardian and Blueprint, News Direct goes to Rivers for its big story. And listen to this. FG backs emergency rule, says Tinubu's declaration timely to avoid Rivers collapse. And there are a few riders this morning. Listen to them. Swezin Ibas, that's the Vice Admiral on River. As Rivers sole administrator, maintaining law and order, my utmost task. Well, we saw the Vice Admiral speaking yesterday. It says it's in the interest of the Rivers people and the nation at large. And then Senate President postpones debate on Rivers state of emergency. And Fubara's suspension undemocratic and unconstitutional. That's ascribed to, I believe, former Governor Rotimi Amaechi. And, you know, listening to the Attorney General yesterday, I didn't quite catch him justifying the action based on the law. He didn't quite say it's legitimate, but he was justifying it based on, you know, 3 outlined reasons. The Supreme Court verdict that blamed the governor for the destruction of the State Assembly, the inability of, you know, the governor to rein in on the situation, and security concerns. And, you know, you wouldn't blame him. He's an employee of the federal government, so he has no other duty but to defend the action of the federal government. Whether that is in line with the law, whether it's right or wrong, that's a matter that the jury is still out on. But that the Attorney General of the Federation doesn't know the law, I believe he's absolutely, you know, aware of what the law says, but he has to be in denial at this point in time.
He's a very brilliant man. We can't deny that. Yeah, I'm sure he knows the law, but how he's interpreting it is a different kettle of fish.
Can we also say that this is the decision of the federal government just yet? Because it's just the executive arm that made that pronouncement. The legislature
that is why
has not given.
Yes, that is why we're raising this now.
But the president has already sworn in.
No. But the National Assembly has to ratify. They have today to give force to what he has done. Either say, go ahead, Mr. President, or no, go ahead. So if they vote against what he has done, that ends
But Jeffrey, the question is, why would the president go ahead to swearing the vice admiral?
No, I don't think he's doing anything wrong.
The National Assembly giving force to the declaration.
They say he can publish, he can gazette and forward to the National Assembly. So to that extent, perhaps is a reason. But whether the man has gone
Don't forget that there are military men already in River State, even as we speak.
I understand that. For some people have said that is what should have been done. Militarize the entire space as much as you can, but taking out democratic structures is unconstitutional.
And that's why we're waiting for the National Assembly.
Okay, that's why we're waiting for the National Assembly. If the National Assembly endorses this, then well, then let's look at what Nigeria says. Well, President Bola Tinubu has sworn in the sole administrator, Vice Admiral Bokete Ekwe Abbas.
Who's retired, by the way.
He's retired. He was in the set of Tuku Burutai, I think.
Buhari government.
So let's hear what the people are saying. Your thoughts on X? He says, Stephen Osemwe says, lawless is fostered upon Nigeria. I guess he wanted to say lawlessness. And the good people of River State. Both the houses of the National Assembly has not had their votes on the issue, and the president has gone ahead to swear in the new military. No, it's not a military administrator, please. It's a sole administrator. Don't scare us.
There's even no more in the military.
As against the wishes of Rivers people and the spirit of the Nigerian Constitution, we are now fully in a dictatorship in Nigeria. Guys, you have the next one.
Mr. Day is the next user this morning who says the reckless attitude of governors must stop. The legislature, I believe you mean to say, is an arm of government and must be allowed to perform their function. Former Governor Obaseki did the same until his tenure expired. The same hammer should bang on governors that relegate local government areas. If you don't like Tinubu, vote him out in 2027. That's as frank can get.
Because as I said, the Constitution is very clear. Either you vote him out, impeach him, or whatever. It is constitutional to impeach someone who has been reckless if the House of Assembly, in their opinion, believe it's been. Not anyone else. The Constitution guarantees only the House of Assembly.
Seems to be saying the obvious here. By the way, it looked like impeachment was imminent anyway.
Yes, of course.
And it will have been quite, I don't want to say, it may have been violent. So maybe this was a much more lesser evil in that sense. But don't worry, we'll get into all of that. But Hassan says all these things are not a coincidence. It looks like Hassan is saying the obvious this morning. It says the installation of a former military figure in River State, the release of Rivers allocations, and his presence in Aso Rock to receive instructions, well, to take the oath. But of course, yeah, at the end of the day, it's clear that this is all about the Rivers Treasury. So Rivers Treasury, or the fact that Rivers bears oil wealth.
And that's why my thinking
is both. So for me, like you said, there's a good point in what you made. If they impeach the governor and there's escalation, it could degenerate. That is very true. It could even go intense. But in correcting that, you must correct it within the law. That's what we're saying.
And
do you understand? It has to be within the confines. What we're talking about is the law here. It has nothing to do with politicians. Yes, on weekend, the governor they'll continue to do whatever they love or they like to do. That's a different kettle of fish. You understand?
You know, that's why my concern is whether or not, you know, this hurried swearing in of the Vice Admiral without the proclamation of the National Assembly giving force to the declaration of a state of emergency is constitutional in the first place. It seems as if, well, I've gone ahead to do it. The National Assembly's approval is merely perfunctory, and it doesn't give it, whether or not they proclaim it. Yeah. I've gone ahead to take the decision.
The National Assembly now
so how does this impact on democratic values? And Kadi talked about precedent earlier on. It seems a dangerous precedent, you know, for other presidents in the future.
So that's why now,
without consequence,
everybody's now looking at the National Assembly. Whatever they do is their choice. You and I and every Nigerian can only say, some will say the president is right, some will say he is not right, but we have looked at the law. We can't find where he is right on this. Suspending democratic institution, state of emergency, we can agree to that effect. So the National Assembly that has the power,
who are the lawmakers.
They are the lawmakers, the people's people, is their job now. The best we can do is talk. We'll take a quick break. When we'll come back, the guests will break it down for us even further. Join us again.